Hey guys, welcome back for another video. We got a fun one prepared today. First off, Merry Christmas to everyone. We're going to have two NFL games coming up on Christmas Day. Some really good football lined up for us for week 17 of the 2024 NFL football season. What we're going to be doing today is we'll be breaking down our Christmas Day games, two NFL games on Wednesday, December 25th. We're going to break down the matchup, try to predict the outcome, who's going to win, who's going to lose, and what the final score will be. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, please drop them below, and I will make sure to respond. Every week, we're going over every single NFL game, completely breaking them down, doing the best bets, the money lines, the spreads, the over-unders. We also do the same thing for every college football game as well. The top 25, the non-top 25. We have the college football bowl season and the college football playoffs happening right now. And the NFL season, guys, there's only 2 weeks left, and it's over. Both football seasons are almost over. If you're a football fan, if you're a sports fan, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're going to be looking at our Wednesday Christmas Day matchups. One at 1 p.m., one at 4:30 p.m. Let's go ahead and get started breaking these games down. And what's interesting to note is both of these games are going to be on Netflix. Pretty crazy. Hopefully we don't have the streaming problems we had the Tyson Paul fight. Hopefully they got all that sorted out and we're going to have good live games and there's going to be no lag for anyone. Let's get started kicking things off. At 1 p.m. on Netflix, we have the 14-1, the defending champs, the Kansas City Chiefs here, versus the 10-5 Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now, Kansas City, they are obviously going to be the favorite, 3-point favorites. The over here is 43.5. They have a 55.6% chance to win this game. This is going to be a very close one. This is two defensively focused teams. They both have playoff caliber, playoff level defenses. Whenever you have two legit defenses facing off, it's going to be a low scoring game. It's going to be a close game, probably a one possession game. Every single Pittsburgh game is always a one possession game. Whether they win or lose, it's always going to be decided by just a couple points. This game's probably going to go down to the fourth quarter. Could come down to a turnover, could come down to a field goal to end the game there at the very end. Looking at the matches, obviously Kansas City, they're having a pretty good season. Patrick Mahomes has been pretty banged up the last few weeks, but he has been playing. What you get with Kansas City, this is a veteran team. This is an experienced team. As they get closer to the playoffs, that's actually when they start playing their best brand of football. They are the defending champs. They've been there before. They know what they need to do to win. They want to kick it into high gear as they're getting closer to playoffs. They've been pretty banged up throughout the whole season, but they're starting to get healthy now, starting to get all their playmakers back. And they have a legit defense. What their defense does is they keep the quarterback in the pocket, shut down the run game, force you into third and long situations. That's what they're going to try to do here versus Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they generate a lot of turnovers, giving their offense the short field to have to go score. Patrick Mahomes himself, even though he's banged up, he's been playing a lot better football. Pretty sloppy first half of the season, but he's in playoff form right now, closing in on 3,700 yards, 23 touchdowns, 11 picks. They're averaging 23.7 points a game, throwing for 225.9, running for 112.9, only giving up 18.5 points a game. That is a top 10 NFL defense as of right now. But the main stat that stands out to me is they only give up 91.4 rush yards per game. Like I was mentioning, they try to shut down the run game, take the play action from you, force you into those third and long situations. How does Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers adapt to that? Right now, Russell Wilson is closing on 2,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, 4 picks. He's going to have one of his better games right now. He's had some up games, he's had some down games. But we're going to have to see the best version of 2024 Russell Wilson this Christmas Day. They're averaging 23.5 points a game, throwing for 198.9, running for 126. They have a pretty decent run game, but they're going to have to really get after it this game. Chiefs are going to stack that line. They're going to be coming after you, trying to get pressure on Russell Wilson, try to force some errant throws, try to get some turnovers, but they also have a good defense. They are at home. They're only giving up 19.9 points a game. This is a Tomlin team. This is a Reed team. It's going to be low scoring. It's going to be decided at the line of scrimmage in the trenches. Looking at the playmakers, obviously for Kansas City, Hunt, Pacheco, Kelsey, Worthy's back. They're playing really solid football, keeping the turnovers down. The thing that was plaguing them first half was a lot of turnovers, especially from Patrick Mahomes. That problem is non-existent right now. They've been getting after it. They've been living off of their special teams. They've been living off of their defense. Everything is just bouncing the Chiefs' way this season. Yes, they've had a lot of lucky games. They've had a lot of very questionable calls from the refs, but never apologize for a win. And looking at Pittsburgh, expect a steady dose of Najee Harris, but will they be able to consistently keep that run game going? And then you also have George Pickens. What's the status with Pickens? He's been out for the last few games. They need to get that guy back. They need him back ASAP. And if he does get back, he needs to play smart. Don't do anything dumb to get any unnecessary flags. So what's the outcome we have? This game honestly could go either way. It's practically a pick 'em 50-50 to me. I would in no way be surprised if the Steelers and their defense gives the Chiefs their second loss. But I have to go with Kansas City to win. Until they show me they're going to lose, I have Kansas City winning this one, and still a close one, winning it 23-17. We have them covering that spread, but we're going to be going with the under. And then the next matchup we have on Christmas Day at 4:30 p.m. also on Netflix. We're going to have the 10-5 Baltimore Ravens here versus the 9-6 Houston Texans. The Texans, they're going to be at home, but they're going to be the underdogs. Baltimore in that offense, they are clicking in high gear right now. Lamar Jackson putting up another MVP caliber season. They're throwing the ball. They have the number 2 rush offense. Right now, Baltimore on the road. I would not want to play this team. This team has a high octane offense putting up crazy stats. They are 5.5-point favorites. They have a 63.7% chance to win this game. The over is going to be 46.5. Houston, they're going to be without Dell, obviously. They're going to be without Diggs. They got Nico Collins back. That's a massive upgrade at the wide receiver. When he's been playing this season, he's been a top 5 receiver in the NFL. But that wide receiver core is starting to get pretty depleted right now. That's going to put a lot of pressure on Nico. That's going to put a lot of pressure on Stroud to have a really good game here, especially if you have to go blow for blow with a very high-scoring Baltimore offense. Looking at the matchup here, Baltimore, they're averaging 30.1 points a game. That's a number 3 offense overall in the NFL. They're throwing for 242.5, running for 181.2, number 2 rush offense. They're averaging over 400 yards of offense per game, doing it multiple ways. Very balanced on the offensive side, and they're giving up 23.3 points per game. That number's been slowly ticking down. Where their weakness is going to be found in their secondary. They're giving up 254.9 passing yards per game. That's pretty bad. That's bottom 3 in the NFL right now. However, their strength is on their defensive line. They're only giving up 83.1 rushing yards per game. Very, very hard to run on Baltimore. Have the number 2 rush defense in the NFL. You can throw all over them, but you definitely can't run on them. They're going to stack that line. They're going to get after it. Usually when you can stop the run, you can get pressure on opposing quarterbacks, try to force some bad throws. They are leaky in the secondary. However, the Texans' strength, which was their wide receiver core, that's not necessarily their strength now. They might not have the wide receiver core to completely take advantage of Baltimore's secondary. Looking at Houston, they're averaging 23.1 points a game, throwing for 213.7, running for 109.6. They got to get the rush yards up. They're giving up 21.8 points a game. Pretty solid on the defensive side overall. Looking at the playmakers, though, you have to look at Lamar Jackson. He's closing in on 3,800 yards, 37 passing touchdowns, only 4 interceptions so far this season, and he also has 3 rushing touchdowns as well. 40 overall touchdowns. This guy could finish the season close to 50 total touchdowns right now. Video game numbers at the quarterback position, but it's not just him. They have a plethora of weapons. Derrick Henry right now closing in on 1,700 yards. He might get 1,900 yards this season, having his best season of his career. That's why they're number 2 rushing in the NFL, just behind the Philadelphia Eagles. But it's the other weapons they have, the vertical weapons. They have Flowers, Andrews, likely one of the most talented top-to-bottom offensive rosters in the NFL. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, 2 tight ends. So many ways they can beat you. So many weapons that the defense has to try to stop. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Houston's defense. They have to get after it here. And Lamar Jackson, every season, he's becoming a better pocket passer. It's not just what he can do scrambling with his legs. It's what he can do with his arms. He had 5 touchdowns this past week. It's going to put pressure on Houston's defense. It's also going to put pressure on Stroud and the Houston offense. They might have to try to go blow for blow with Baltimore. When you start going blow for blow, feeling that you have to score every possession, sometimes that leads to some turnovers. Stroud, he's closing on 3,500 yards, 19 touchdowns, 11 picks. He's not having as good of a season as he had last season. Still a solid year, but they're pretty banged up in that wide receiver room. They have Mixon, he's just shy of 1,000 yards. Nico Collins also just shy of 1,000 yards, and still he missed, I think, 4 games. So he's having overall a really, really good season. So what's the outcome that we have for this game? Houston's at home. That has to give them 3 to 4 points right there. But it's going to be a tall task at them with the depletion they've had to keep up with Baltimore. I would not want to play Baltimore right now, even though they're on the road. We're going to go with the Ravens winning this one. 28-20. We have them covering, and we're going to go with the over. So that's a breakdown. That's just our picks for the 2 Christmas Day games. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments at all, please drop them below, and I will respond. Thank you, and Merry Christmas, everyone.